Haruka was teased at school because of the color of his hair. After graduating from high school he moved to another city where he decided to go for a walk. On the way he met some bandits who were harassing a girl. The guy helped the beauty to deal with these kicking bags. As a thank you she cooked him a very tasty lunch for free. To avoid being teased he decided to fight everyone and joined a school with the most violent students to always have someone to fight with. As soon as he left the cafe he was met by the same gangsters with friends to take revenge on the protagonist. Having superiority in numbers they start to destroy everything around them. The battle begins, in the course of which the students of the school he entered come to the aid of the guy. The townspeople, having seen the group of local schoolchildren, went to the balconies to support the local defenders. In this town, no one is going to humiliate him for his hair color. After a small snack and an informative story about coffee, it's time for the main character to go to school. On the way he is given various gifts for helping to protect the locals from bandits, but the bandits reappear in town and attack Haruka's classmate. He meets Hayato and the other students in the class and tells them that he wants to become the head of the school by begging everyone. Kyotaro, a fan of the current head of the school, enters the class and starts a fight with the protagonist. The fight is interrupted by the leader of the group of students, after which they shake hands and promise not to do it again. After getting acquainted with the hierarchy in the school system, the guys gathered in groups and went to patrol the city to avoid the attack of bandits on the locals. This time there was nothing interesting on their territory, but across the bridge at the neighboring school where something was going on and so they had to intervene. Schoolchildren from the neighboring school came up and arranged a showdown because their comrade-in-arms was too weak to fight back. Then they come to the head of Hajime, who praises the hero for his work and pats him on the head. The head of the neighboring school Toyoji comes to the schoolyard and wants to fight the strongest fighter of the school. The schoolchildren are not very happy that someone has infiltrated their territory and are going to fight back. They decide to have a series of one-on-one fights to see which school will be stronger. Before a very important event should be properly nourished, they are treated in a cafe for free, as the girl grew up in the same orphanage with the head. The day of the match comes and the team with the protagonist comes to the base of the neighboring school. In the first round, the guys' team wins. The next fight was not physical but rather psychological. At the end of the opponent could not stand because of which the victory was again for our team. After another victory begins the fight between the main character and the deputy head of the neighboring school. Here we are revealed the past of this guy, who was very kind, but then met with the head of the school and began to beat all classmates and exclude them from school for losing. After beating each other's faces a little, the opponent decides to give up. The head of the school, who just a few minutes ago was his best friend, gives him a kick in the jaw and no longer considers him a human being. The final battle begins, during which the boy also realizes that they are doing wrong by excluding the weak from their group, so he also surrenders. In the end, the protagonist's team gets a complete victory. Celebrate decided on the roof of the building after the rain, where they continued to talk about philosophical topics and explain to the audience what happened in general. Also reveals the essence of the team leader that Haruka wants so much to become. After the meal was over, the students returned to the school without teachers. The whole class has heard about what they have done, and they greet them with a curiosity that Haruka is not used to. Taiga, a local athlete, approaches them and invites them to eat together. He wants to know what makes the protagonist different from everyone else and why he wants to become the head of the school. Another classmate comes to the cafe, but Taiga accidentally makes them leave the place. On the street they were waited for by a group of bandits from whom this guy saved a girl. The main character and his friends came to his aid. That's how they met and exchanged contacts. The class is planning to elect a head teacher and the protagonist wants to put forward his candidacy, but hesitates. When the election comes around, the whole class supports the idea of Haruka becoming the head of the class. So now Haruka is in charge of the class and has already begun to doubt his intentions to win the battles and become the strongest. The first thing he has to do is to memorize the names of his classmates and learn how to talk to people. Next we learn that strange people dressed in white clothes with a dragon sign entered the town. They were looking for a guy who was hurt by this group, as his friend is their member, and they regularly abuse him and extort him to pay money. The whole class, led by Haruka, gathers to avenge their classmate and his friend.